Good morning. I just want to jump on really quickly, let everybody know, and I'm going to try to post this as well. I'm going to be going live today at 12 noon. And we need to get a training. We need to get a teaching. As you all know, I am predominantly a woman's coach. So I predominantly work with women. Okay. I am a women's coach, a women's femininity coach, and I teach women about all things femininity and what it is to be a wife, what it is to be a great woman, all of the things. I think the road is blocked off. Okay, let me go around. The road is blocked off. I did not expect that, so I have to go around to the other subdivision because they have blocked off the road. Okay. So that is primarily who I'm speaking to. However, today's lesson is going to be for men and women because honestly, I'm seeing this happening with men and women. And it is all about single people single people who don't know how to be single. Single people, I guess they're unmarried. Maybe that's what they mean. I'm unmarried, but they are not good at being single. And it is getting a whole lot of us in a whole lot of trouble. And so think about it like this. If you were out here and you're dating, right? You're open to dating, you're open to meeting people, and you're on dating apps. And so you're out here like, yeah, I'd love to go on a date. I'd love to, meet someone. I'd love all of that, right? Okay. And so you're on dating apps and you're out at, dating events. You're out at restaurants or bars, and you think that you're interacting with people who are in fact single. Right? That's what you're thinking. To me, that's common sense, especially on a dating app, right? You're thinking, okay, this is a dating app, or this is, this app's whole purpose is to bring people together to date or have relationships. I mean, a lot of these apps just bring people together to have sex. But either way, you assume that these people are single and available. They're open, right? You assume that, right? Wrong. Because here's the truth, and this is what we're not talking about. This is what we're not talking about enough. It is estimated that 46% of the people that are on dating apps are in relationships, living with someone, or married. Is that insane? Is that insane? Right? You're showing up to a place that supposedly is for people who want to meet people, who want to date people, who want to get to know them, to be in an intimate relationship. 46% of them are already in an intimate relationship. Okay. So please be careful. I have a list of questions that I often talk to women, like I have it printed out. I have it actually written out. I give this to women. And just like I instruct my daughters, I often write down things for my daughters. I often have written instructions, written guidelines, written rules for my daughters. My computer is full of that. And I sometimes give the women that I'm coaching the same thing. I print it out and I send it to them or email it to them because I'm thinking, okay, my daughters, these are the two women, the two young women that, like I said, they mean everything to me. They mean the world to me. So if I'm not going to steer them wrong, like if I'm willing to give them this advice, then hey, I guess I'm willing to give every woman this advice. And one of the main reasons why I do that, because people ask me that all the time, like, why do you go through all of this trouble? Why do you do that? Because it wasn't something that I got as a young woman. That's why I'm so passionate about working with young women, because I made a lot of mistakes when I was a young woman. And if I can be honest, yes, I think I had good parents. I had great grandparents. However, my parents didn't share everything. They didn't tell me everything. They didn't verbalize everything that I needed to know. I remember having a conversation with my mother right before I got married, and she was saying, well, I didn't feel the need to tell you. I didn't feel the need to verbalize it. I just felt like, I'm living in such a way so as to be a good role model. And I felt like, you would have saw how I lived and you would have kind of taken a hint from that. And I'm like, no, I told myself when I had kids, I will never do that. I mean, yes, do I try to be a good role model? Of course, but I'm going to open my mouth. I'm going to use words to tell my daughters very difficult things. My middle daughter is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida right now on spring break week. And on the drive to the airport, we had a very hard conversation. I typed out 2 pages of guidelines for this trip. I made her read them out loud on the drive to the airport so that we had an understanding of this is how you are to conduct yourself. This is how a young woman, a young, feminine, virtuous woman conducts herself in situations such as these. And the number one thing I told her is, you have a future. You simply need to keep that in mind today. You have a future, and keep it in mind today, right? If you are fortunate, you have a future husband. If you are fortunate, you have future children. Keep them in mind today. Your behavior today will have a lot to do with your future. So that's the main thing I stress to my daughters and my son. Everybody gets the same teaching. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little, the teaching is a little different for my daughter in the sense of, like I said, I want her to be in her feminine power. I want her to know that she's the gatekeeper. So that's very different. I teach my son a similar lesson, but not quite the same, because remember, men and women are different. So we're not even going to go there. Men and women are different. But I do teach all of them, similar, very similar morals and values. They are all getting kind of my same values and morals. But I teach my daughter to move in her feminine power. I teach my son to move in his masculine power. Those are 2 totally different powers. So we had that conversation, and like I told my mom, I use words. Like I don't leave it up to me to read between the lines. I'm not a covert communicator. I am a very overt, direct communicator. And the number one reason why that is because I never want my daughters to say, well, you didn't tell me. I didn't know. No one told me. Because honestly, that was my excuse. When I got into some of the dumb stuff I got into, that's the first thing I said. No one told me. You didn't tell me. You never sat me down. You never talked to me about this. I didn't know. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make sure that don't happen again. So that's why I do it the way I do. But I do share this information with the ladies in my coaching program, with the ladies who show up to masterminds and master classes and such. Because again, maybe they don't have anyone in their life that's been this direct, that's been this, overt. Okay, did I say covert? I'm an overt communicator, not a covert communicator. So yeah, I feel like, a lot of women do not have this knowledge. I had a follower reach out to me the other day about the conversations that I have with my children. She said, I have a 14-year-old daughter. I would love some guidelines. I would love that document. I'd love to be able to talk with her. And here's the thing, parents, if you're a parent listening to this, you have to be comfortable. A lot of parents, fathers and mothers, y'all are not comfortable talking about this. Y'all are not comfortable having hard conversations. That's why you can't do it with your children. So it's something you need to learn. It's something I learned. That's why I can do it with my kids. That's why I can do it with other people. So there's benefits all the way around to having these very open, honest, overt, direct, communicative conversations. You grow, and they'll grow, right? Everybody grows when you're having these types of conversations. But see, a lot of parents, men and women, you all are not comfortable talking to your children like this. You all are not comfortable being this direct. I was saying the other day, and it could have been on the live, about, we're more comfortable having sex with strangers than talking to strangers about sex. There's something wrong with that. Like, honestly, if I'm being honest, if I just met a man and we hit it off and there was a vibe, I could sit up all night and talk about sex with him. I'm not sleeping with him. I'm not having sex with him, but I can talk about it. I can talk about it all night long, but I'm not sleeping with them. And we have flipped that. We feel more comfortable actually having sex with a stranger than we do talking about sex. And there's something really, really wrong with that, because, you know, research shows us that people who are comfortable talking about sex have better sex. People who never talk about sex, people who are not comfortable talking about sex, their sex lives tend to suck. Okay, so that's a reason. That's a reason for you to start talking about sex, because you will have better sex. You will have a better sex life. You will have more consistent sex. So yeah, I'm very comfortable having these hard conversations. I've been talking to my kids about sex since they were 9, 10 years old, talking to them about pornography, talking to them about sexually transmitted diseases and using protection, talking about virtue, talking about, you know, not having casual sex, all the things. I'm very comfortable talking about sex. Y'all should know that by now, because I talk about it on here. So yeah, but single people are technically not even single anymore. I don't know how we got here. They are not single anymore. Who you think, like on these dating apps, who you think is single, they're not single. They are hung up on an ex. They are in a situationship. They are in a friends with benefits. They, you know, I can't make this up. They're having casual sex. Their feelings are all wrapped up in someone else. Like, y'all need to be careful. You need to be very careful out here, because see, y'all are moving. See, y'all may be single, right? But other people are not. And you just need to be mindful of how you're moving. I'm single. Not only am I not married, there is no, you know, no man out there that believes I'm his woman, I'm his wife. I'm not having sex with anybody, have not in a long time. I'm not hung up on anybody, you know, I'm just chilling. You know, I am truly and completely single. Now, I will say this. Let's say I met a man tomorrow and we got in a relationship in 3 months. He may see some random messages in my phone. He may see some random men reach out to me, because that's always a thing. But I want you to know this. Those men are not viable. Like, men who reach out in my DMs, men who reach out, you know, from the past, men who reach it, they're not viable. They're just, you know, going through their phones and seeing I wonder what Anita's doing. That's what they're doing. Like, we haven't talked in months or years. So if a man did happen to, you know, have my phone and a message came through, it would be real easy to explain that, because one, chances are that message would be just a number, not a name. There'd be no name associated to it, because again, if I'm not dealing with you, I take your number out of my phone. Like, I'm good. Okay. So it's easy to explain, very easy to explain, because again, you know, I am truly single. I'm not on anybody's roster. I don't have anybody on my roster that I'm actively dating. You know, I'm focused on other things right now. And if I was out here dating and just exploring, just seeing what's out here, again, I'm not sleeping with anybody, but I would be very open about that. I'd say, yeah, I'm just kind of out here, you know, just getting to know people. I've been on a few dates. I've talked to some people on the phone. That's usually how I say it. Been on a few dates, talked to some people on the phone, messaged a few people. But right now, there really is no one specifically that I, you know, have a deep interest in. That's how I would say it. So if that was the case, that's how I would say it. That's not even the case. Do I get random DMs? Sure. I get random messages from Facebook? Yeah. Do I have people that I once talked to or maybe once dated in the past? Every now and again, they will, you know, text me or call me. It's rare. It's very rare, but sure. And again, sure, I can explain that. But right now, I don't have any problem giving a man I'm dating my phone. Like, he would be shocked. He would be surprised. Like, oh, you are really single. Yeah, I really am. And this is what I want to share with the men. A lot of women are. You all have this belief. And see, it comes from projection. men project onto women like their desire, what they would do. Oh, if I had men in my DM and if I had men on Facebook and men on Instagram and all this, yeah, I'd be taking advantage of it. Most women are not. Most women are not into men like that, like you think, because most men are just not that worthy. I'm not trying, that's not a cut, but I need you to know if you're a 1% or a 5% man, consider yourself thumbs up. Most men are not. Most men are not. Most men that fall in my DM or message me or what, they not. They not. They are not 1% or 5% men. They're in the 95%. And okay, all right, that's it. So just letting you know that. Just letting you know that. But I'm going to be going live today at 12 noon. I'm jumping off now because I got to run in here and I got an appointment at 10. But I will be going live today again at 12 noon. We're going to talk about this. And I'm going to give you some teaching on how you can protect yourself, because I'm seeing a lot of people fall into situations and they're getting their feelings hurt because you're out here dating people that aren't really single. So we will talk soon. Have a great day. And as always, stay open to love.